Hey guys, I'm Dr. Arie VandeWaa at the University of South Alabama, and you're listening to the 2022 All-State Middle School Technical Commentary Podcast. First and foremost on this technical etude, check your key. Remember your D flats, okay? 5th position in that middle register, 2nd position above the staff. Now, while this piece is marked at forte, a mistake I hear a lot with younger players is they see forte and they think, all right, I'm going to go for it, and they just punch the sound out and it's super loud and it's super blatty, right? We don't want that. We want a controlled forte. We want a comfy forte, okay? So don't overblow right away just because it says forte, all right? It's not a trombone section forte. It's not a rah-rah moment. This is just a nice, generally loud sound that you're in control of. Second, you want to make sure that the articulations are 100% accurate onto the page, right? All-State is a judge of how well you follow the instructions as the music goes along. So really make sure that you're using staccatos when they're appropriate. A lot of people, especially younger players, like to make the staccatos really, really, really short, okay? And we do this for a lot of reasons. It helps us sometimes blend better in band and, again, in hide and ensemble playing and feel those rhythms sometimes better too, right? However, in solo playing, if you're too short, we lose the center of the pitch, right? We don't get resonance. We don't get a good sound. We don't even know necessarily if we're in tune. We're just sort of a blip that happens. So let there be a little bit of decay on your staccatos, okay? Another thing to remember is there's actually only 4 marked staccato notes in the entire piece. So just because they're on there doesn't mean everything has to be super, super short, okay? Speaking of articulations, the other thing you want to watch out for are these accented notes, right? So remember, with accents, it's kind of like you're trying to get someone named Todd's attention from across the room, right? You can't scream it, but you want to get their attention. So you go, Todd, Todd, right? You put a lot of emphasis on articulating the T sound. That's what you want to do with an accent, just a sound, right? A little bit up front while the buzz continues to support the pitch, all right? Accents, a lot of times players will play as fortissimo all the time, right? But an accent can happen at any dynamic. It's just a tiny bump in the attack, okay? Now, the other thing we do with these 16th notes as they're written is we like to crunch them into triplets, okay? Just because there's 3 in a row doesn't mean it's a triplet. So keep that 1E and 1E and 1E and subdivision going. So ta-ta-ta, 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 not ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, right? You've got to keep that space of the 4th, 16th note there. Remember, too, that when it comes to tempos, and I mentioned this in the previous podcast, that they are recommendations. 120 is a little fast in the sense that with 16th notes, we can double tongue them, okay? Now, these are short, and there's only 3 in a row, so as a rule, I prefer single tongue on these, okay? And if you listen to the recording, I'm single tonguing on that recording. If double tonguing is easy for you, and you're like, oh yeah, I can double tongue that, then that's fine. It's very appropriate at this speed to do so. You know, again, tuck-a-tut is plenty, right? That works really well. If you can't, though, stick to single tonguing and stick to a tempo where you can single tongue successfully, even if it's not quite 120. That's fine. If it's in the 100s, that's great, okay? Next, watch your pitch on the E flats, E naturals, and Fs above the staff. Again, I mentioned this in the previous podcast. These notes on this partial are inherently very sharp, so we have to kick them out to kind of like 1.5 for the F, 2.5 for the E, 3.5 for the E flat position. So use your ears to find the pitch. Use a tuner, use a drone, whatever you want to do, and make sure that, especially if you're a trombonist, you're not bending the pitch from your lips, that you're using the slide in your right hand, right? Finally, just like before, dynamics are critical. We talk a lot about separators, right? Factors that make you different from the player beforehand. You definitely, with this etude, want to create 3 distinct dynamics. You want a piano dynamic, a mezzo forte, and a forte, and you want to exercise all the crescendos on the page exactly as they're printed, okay? So make sure that there's a lot of difference between loud and medium loud, and then soft and medium loud, right? Good. And always, these are duets. Playing with a friend, it's really fun. It's a great way to work on those dynamics. It's a great way to work on pitch, and it's a great way to really understand and enjoy the music a little bit more. I hope this has been helpful. Again, I'm Dr. Arie VandeWaa at the University of South Alabama, and thank you for listening.